what are some of the scariest things you've... Okay, I'm thinking more in music. Are there any songs that have scared you or terrified you?
Not that I can think of. Like, actual songs?
So back in the day, I used to go out ghost hunting a lot. So we'd go visit scary places out in the foothills near Visalia, California. And in order to get to this one place, you had to take this one road that I've talked about before called El Rio Road. So you're way out in the country. You're near this famous park where all of these gang members, so it's meet up. So it's super dangerous. And you take a right, and it's just like a single lane road. And on the right side is a river. And before we'd get on that road, I'd always make everyone in my car get out and ride in the truck bed. So it was like the most scary. And then I would play this song by Clint Mansell, who composed for Requiem for a Dream. And there's 2 songs on that album. One of them you've heard in almost every trailer ever. It's called like Ox Antium. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's like dun 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 dun. I'm trash, but give me a second.
Yeah, that was the worst rendition I've ever heard of that song. Hands down.
I'm cutting that shit out.
Back on that subject of scary movies, though, I remembered a black and white that I really liked as a kid. It's called The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. What? Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
So it has Don Knotts in it. And do you know who Don Knotts is?
Yeah.
So he's like mostly a comedy actor. And he accepts essentially a dare to go and sleep in a haunted mansion. And while he's there, stuff happens. And it's an unsolved murder.
Oh, I'm watching this
Dude,
tonight,
it's such
bro.
a good movie. I loved it.
What's it called?
The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Damn. All right, Shawnee. All right, it's called Lux Aeterna.
So loud, and look how low you put it. I've heard this.
I know.
This is the one in trailers.
Yeah, most people have heard this. They don't realize they've heard it, though. And if they haven't heard this, they've heard like someone try to replicate this. Mm-hmm. But it's just like the most daunting, like fills you with dread type music. It's orchestra, strings. I don't know.
Dude, strings are creepy.
So that's what I was attempting to do with my mouth.
Yeah. It's safe to say everyone has heard this song.
You know what this is also in a lot of?
What's that?
Motivational YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh.
Also scary.
Also scary.
Hold on. I have to find one more. Sorry, guys. The second song that I would play, and this is like the really hardcore one, it's called The Meltdown. And this is happening at a point in the movie where every bad thing is happening. So if you haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, it's not so much scary as scarring and
intense.
PTSD inducing. This song is playing during it.
This one is intense.
So it like builds up. It just causes like stress to me.
Dude, this is the most anxiety-inducing song I've ever heard.
If you have Spotify, go look it up. Clint Mansell, Meltdown.
Have you ever seen Requiem for a Tuesday?
No.
No.
You should see it. It's actually short. It's scary how short it is. It's about 6 seconds. No, stupid. You know the claymation film?
Oh, God.
I hate you.
I hate you, dude.
What were you gonna say?
Actually, I just remembered a sound that was kind of eerie and creepy. I know you have seen this or listened to this podcast before. I don't know if you have, but Black Tapes,
Ooh.
a podcast that was popular like a couple of years ago, probably. And in one of the episodes, they say that this sound is like cursed, and anyone that listens to it a year later dies. And then in the middle of the episode, it says, "We're gonna play you the sound now."
It's
I'm
pretty
like-
intense, bro. They're like, warning,
That's a great.
we're gonna
build-up.
play this sound.
Oh man.
And I know at least 3 or 4 people who turned it off. They were like, I refuse. I won't listen to it.
Bro, I listened to that whole thing.
Me too.
Still alive, bitches.
What about you, Deej?
There's one that I can think of. So a couple of years ago, when Sean and I were roommates, Jordan was a roommate as well, and Jake, we were at Alpine Village.
Oh, right.
At the time, I was working from home for a tech company, so I would always just play music while I was working in my room. And this one producer that I love, her name is Sophie, and she is a complete weirdo. So some of your opinions might change at me if you listen to this person's music, and that's totally fine. I acknowledge the fact. But Sophie came out with her first album. I was really excited to listen to it. So I was playing in the background while I was working, and one of the songs came on, and Sophie is, the best way to put it, or the worst, is like a mad scientist producer. The creations she makes are like out of this world in the best way. But there was a song on the album called Not Okay. And when it started playing, it made me so uncomfortable. All of the sounds that were coming through my speakers, I turned around to look if someone was behind me like 3 times during the song. It was so creepy to me because I've never heard sound produced that way and organized. And it was just like this, I don't know, like amalgamation of unknown, eerie,
Oh,
just creepy. And I don't know, it might hit different now. Maybe it was just in the moment.
and you were
But I
like
haven't-
alone in a room.
Yeah, I haven't really listened to it much since, but I appreciated the fact that it made me feel that way because I've never had that emotion before in a song until that moment, at least on its own, without like the aid of a movie or what's going on screen. But that was one for me. Sophie, Not Okay. I don't know. Try to play it.
It's pretty unsettling
It's
already.
kind of.
Yeah, it is.
This is Fly, though.
I like it, dude.
We recently watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that might be the movie I have watched the most in my entire life.
Random.
It is random, but as a kid, we had it on VHS,
Hey.
and it's the right amount of weird to keep you intrigued, at least for me. So it was, you have those movies when you're growing up where it's just playing. You could be doing something else, like playing with toys or something, and it's just on the TV in the background. But we watched that, and it got to the part where they're in the big room with the chocolate waterfall and Augustus Gloop falls inside. But that song where they just enter the room and they're eating candy, what is, now I can't think of it. What is it?
I used to play this a lot. Imagine, wait. In a world. Pure imagination.
Yeah, Pure Imagination, which is a super heartwarming song for me. It's really nostalgic. I just think it's a good song on its own. But that first line, come and see, I think it is. But my girlfriend said when she was a kid, that was also playing in the background and she fell asleep and their VCR broke and it looped that part. Come and see, come and see. And she would hear that over and over and over. And
A small Asian girl crawled out of her TV.
so that song, for me, I love it. But for her, it's terrifying and it creeps her out. But when she gave it to me in that context, it made perfect
That
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Bro, that should be a scene in a movie. That is.
That should be a new, kind of like how Jordan Peele
Yeah.
used I Got Five on It, which on its
Ooh,
own
yeah.
isn't a scary song by any means. But his rendition of it, so good. The way he used it in the movie Us, if you haven't seen that. But the way the strings are used in that, terrifying.
Yeah.
Match the mood perfectly.
Nice.
But
So, out there, listeners, what is your scariest song? DM us, comment.
yeah, let us
I'd
know.
be interested in like finding more creepy music.
It's funny. We've had some people tell us that our theme song.
Oh yeah.
Our intro song is scary. I mean, we were trying to channel that a little bit, but we've had some people tell us that they couldn't make it past the intro to listen to us because the piano was too scary. So
For those who don't know, DJ actually created our intro.
Shout out DJ.
Yeah.
quick work.